What's up, future retirees and retirees? I am here at the Cambodian New Year in Stockton, California. Hello. Happy Cambodian New Year. And I am here to talk about doom spending, right? So, with this whole tariff thing going on, I don't even know what to think anymore because there's tariffs and then there are exceptions and then there's tariffs and there's pausing of tariffs.
Now, just to get into this a little bit more, on Friday, the White House issued what they called a, quote, clarification of exemptions, which revealed that consumer electronics would be exempt from the tariffs that they imposed on Beijing. Now, at first, this did look like another pleasing market come down, but then yesterday, we really heard the president's top economic advisors kind of muddy the waters, kind of add more uncertainty and confusion to all of this when they did a tour of the Sunday shows. Listen to what they said.
The policy is no exemptions, no exclusions. The policy is in effect. No, there were not exclusions.
What he's doing is he's saying they're exempt from the reciprocal tariffs, but they're included in the semiconductor tariffs, which are coming in probably a month or two.
What happened is, it's not really an exception, that's not even the right word for it. What happened is this type of supply chain moved from the tariff regime for the global tariff, the reciprocal tariff, and it moved to the national security tariff regime.
So, Kate, it is an exemption. It's not an exemption. It's a clarification. All to say they are continuing to muddy the waters here, just pushing more confusion around this broader tariff plan. And as we know, what is true one day is not necessarily true 24 hours later. We saw that happen last week. But I think the bottom line here is that where a lot of people were kind of celebrating these exemptions or these pause on some of these electronic goods, we are now learning that that is a temporary thing as these more sector-specific semiconductor tariffs are expected to come into play in the near future.
So there is no way of investing properly in this environment, and I want to talk about doom spending because I know that some people are going to be doom spending because of the tariffs. Now, as of recently, I took a break and I wanted to spend family time with Cambodian New Year, and I'm about to leave Stockton, California right now. So I wanted to talk about how I was kind of low-key doom spending, but I wasn't really. So if you don't know what doom spending is, let me explain that first. Doom spending is when you know something's about to go up in value or price, and then you decide, you know what, I'm going to spend on that thing now, right? So, for example, this past week, because of the whole tariffs on everybody, and then that tit-for-tat China tariffs, it got people kind of nervous, and people ran to the Apple store and tried to buy a bunch of Apple products. Especially the iPhone, right? Because so many iPhones are made in China. And then with the tit-for-tat tariffs, China is now going to raise a bunch of prices due to, well, they don't raise the price. We are doing it to ourselves, in my opinion. So this weekend, I was just listening to the news and I found out that, hey, people don't really have to doom spend because there are exceptions now for companies like Apple, who makes phones, who's a big company. And then there's like this exceptions. Hey, what's up? There's exceptions for laptops, computers, Dell, HP. I'm assuming Asus as well, probably. NVIDIA, right? Anything that's tech computer related is getting an exempt from these tariffs. Because, hey, it's going to jack up the price so much, people are not going to spend, or they're going to go doom spend right now. So I'm a bit cynical. I wouldn't say hypocritical, cynical about this. And I'll get into my stories on why I'm doom spending a little bit. But I think it's kind of dumb that you put on these tariffs, you make people go spend money that maybe they don't need to spend right now, and then you take it off, and people be like, well, I could have waited a little bit and spend my money on something more important than running to go out to go buy an iPhone because, excuse me, like the allergies here are killing me and I might sneeze. I feel it in my nose right now. These tariffs are causing people to doom spend when they don't need to. And I myself nearly doom spend, right? Because I was actually going to go buy like an iPad and I was realized like, hey, why do I need the iPad? I already have my MacBook Pro. I don't need anything anymore. And I can just edit on that. And the reason why I want my iPad is because I have the 2018 iPad and I've been wanting to upgrade. And so I nearly doom spend because of this tariff. And my video is to explain why you shouldn't doom spend, because if you don't have the disposable income, you shouldn't do it. I mean, I do have the disposable income, but at the same time, I'm trying to invest. And so if you're doom spending, you don't have money to invest. So that's why I'm trying to warn people about the doom spending and how these tariffs are going to go back and forth. And I'm going to talk about me being cynical, right? So let's think of it this way. The Trump administration is constantly blaming the previous administration for all the inflation and all these other things, that, oh, they did a horrible job, the economy was trash, and so on and so forth. And then what I think is these tariffs are meant to just basically wreck the first half of this year. That's what I think. Because what happens when you wreck the economy and then blame the other administration, and then later on you lift these tariffs, and then business is booming again, and everyone's happy, and the market's going up again, and Q3 and Q4 is what Lutnick said. And so yeah, I think that this administration is purposefully making this economy tank and then bring it back up later. Now, it's kind of dangerous to do that, because people, you're putting the people who are living paycheck to paycheck through hell, and they don't deserve that, right? They don't deserve to be yanked around and jerked around by these politicians and big companies, because once laws or tariffs or whatever goes into effect, and the consumer is going to be hurt the most, because companies are going to just pass on the cost to the consumer, the extra cost that wasn't necessary. And that's what I'm trying to get at. It's a lot of this stuff is just not necessary, and it's making people go all crazy for no reason. So yeah, that's my thing. All right, put the tariff on, make things go to crap, pause the tariff, lift the tariff, whatever. I mean, it doesn't feel like there's any plan to move this economy forward in a smooth way. And if you're not moving the economy forward in a smooth way, why not wreck it and then fix it and then say, oh, look at that, we did a good job. That's what I think on my cynical side. And there's an extra cynical side of me, which is thinking, hey, you know what? Maybe Apple is colluding, or the big companies are colluding with Trump to force people to doom spend. So that way, hey, more money for us. So yeah, that's just something I wanted to add that has been floating in my mind. And I want you to just, spend wisely is what I'm trying to say. Don't just because, oh my goodness, the price is going to go up, I need to go spend. You don't have to unless you actually need it. Okay? All right. Back to the video. Thanks for listening. Yeah, I want to know what you guys think. Well, you guys think that these tariff stuff are just make the economy tank as well, purposefully? Really? Because every time the administration and the politicians and the Treasury Secretary and all that, they're all saying the same thing, and it's kind of like the same tune over and over again. Blame the previous administration. This is going to work. And then at the same time, it's kind of like, let's go through a little bit of pain so that way we can prosper later. And some people can't literally afford to go through this pain. Think of all the small businesses that are not getting help, like Apple, right? Apple's getting help. The big tech companies are getting breaks. But then what about the little companies? Like, for example, okay, let's think about this. Ranch 99. It is an Asian food mart that's going to get hit hard because they're going to be shipping stuff from Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, China, Taiwan, right? Korea, okay? These little businesses are going to run out of business because the price is going to go so high that people are not going to want to buy products because the prices are so expensive. You just think of it that way, right? Think of it this way. All right, ramen noodle, okay? Noodles that are made in China or whatever, okay? Or Thailand or Cambodia, wherever. All right? The tariff get placed on them. The price increases from $2 a little bowl of noodle or whatever to about $3. I mean, think of how many little bowl of noodles that is. It's 50% increase in the price, right? That's insane. That's insane. It just doesn't make any sense. You know, so I'm thinking of these folks who are going to be struggling through all this tariff on, tariff off, tariff pause business, and who's not really hurting? The big companies, the politicians, the people who make good money. You know, so I've been fortunate, right? Me and my wife, we're both teachers, and we have double income. You know, we rake in a good amount of money, and then we're living comfortable. But I'm thinking about, like, for example, my students, right? The ones who are underserved, underprivileged. What are their parents going to go through? And that's the reason why I have like such an issue with this tariff business, because it's going to affect those people that I truly, really do care about. I love my students. I want to see them do well. I want to see them not struggle, right? Because they're already struggling enough as it is, because I teach inner city kids. So yeah, that's why I'm kind of cynical, and at the same time, like, you know, a little bit hopeful that these tariffs are just like hopefully negotiating tactics. But it seems like doing it without forethought of how this can affect the everyday average people is a little bit unfair. I wouldn't say a little bit, very unfair. I would say it's like extremely unfair to those people. So yeah, you guys let me know what you guys think. Like, are you suffering through this tariff stuff? Were you doom spending? And let me get into my story now about doom spending. So I was actually going to doom spend, not just buying an iPad, but I was also going to doom spend where I'm like, hey, you know, prices are going to go up. I'm going to get my fishing gear, and I'm going to go fishing this weekend. This weekend was meant for my me time, but then my sister was like, hey, why don't you come with us to Stockton, California? Let's go see the family, the NorCal family, and then, you know, hang out with them. So I was like, you know what? Me time, family time. Me time, family time. Family time takes the cake. Why? Because how much more time am I going to have with them? And I don't even know when I'm going to pass, you know? So how much time are they going to have with me? So it goes both ways, right? So that's another bit of doom spending that I was going to do. It's kind of like, hey, you know what? I'm going to go do some me time, go trout fishing by myself, and then rent a hotel and everything like that, because things are going to get more expensive. Labor is going to get more expensive. Like, you know what? Let's do a little doom spending, even though I'm in like $6,000 of debt. But obviously, if you've been watching my posts, I can just pay it off if I want to, but I don't want to. I want to be able to suffer through what it feels like to be in debt while I'm retired, and figure out how to pay things off without having to dip into like my, you know, a retirement emergency. So that's the reason why I'm in debt. Not because I can't pay it off. It's more like I want to train myself to be able to get out of debt. So yeah, that's my short story of how I'm doom spending. So I'm here doom spending, buying all these Cambodian food here that are obviously overpriced, but I don't care. I'm supporting my people. I'm supporting those people I was talking about, the ones who actually have to work extra hard to make ends meet, because they are the middle class people that are like just paying the brunt of. Think how much do they have to spend to get their inventory of their ingredients and food to cook here? You know, if a lot of the Asian countries are being tariffed to death, right? Death. That's what I meant to say, not death. Death. Gotta speak correctly, right? So that's the reason why I'm griping about this whole tariff thing. It's just so very extremely unfair to the people who don't deserve it. All right. Okay. Well, anyways, I'm gonna say goodbye now. I'm gonna go enjoy time with my family. I just wanted to shoot this video real quick and then upload it, and you know, see how you guys are doing out there, and say to you, Happy Cambodian New Year. It starts on the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th. So today is the 13th. This is the first day of Cambodian New Year. Tomorrow will be the 14th, which is another day for Cambodian New Year, and then the 15th is another day of Cambodian New Year. So Happy Cambodian New Year. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for listening to me. I hope that you're doing okay out there, and you know, somebody's got your back. I want to speak up for you. All right? So we're going to say goodbye now with rock, paper, peace. And don't forget to watch that video right there of how I saved $100,000, and you can too. And it starts with just $1. Bye.